The more time I spend with the millionaire and even the billionaire is that I found how they think and do differently from the majority. And yesterday my family was fortunate enough to be invited to a big house from a self-made billionaire artist. And so today's I really want to share the lessons that I learned from this successful person. Because you see, he's not only financially rich, but he's also mentally, physically, and spiritually rich. And I found that's my true definition of success. Because you see, in this world, there are people, they are rich, but they're not living life with happiness. They're still living life with miserable. And I found, the definitions of success is success without fulfillment is failure. And I found, I was so compelled and attracted by this billionaire just because how he thinks really differently and the mindset he has different from the majority and the average. And I want to share with you the lessons that I learned, that how he got to this point in his life. And I want to tell you that he is a self-made billionaire. His parents, he was not rich. His parents were train employees in a train station. He didn't get a really good, political background in China. So what he did, why he can, achieve the result that he had today, is because what he do and think differently from the majority. And that's, why those successful people, they separate from the majority because they think and do way different than the majority. So in today's video, I really want to share with you the lessons that I learned from this billionaire. And I just want to give you some sense. Yesterday, we met at 11 a.m. and we left at 6 p.m. For the 7 hours, almost 6 hours, he was talking about his life story. And at the moment that we're about to leave, he's still not done with his life stories. So when a moment that I was just so inspired by this guy that, the stories that he had in his life. I found, for you who are watching this video right now, there is a life that I believe that you also want to live. It's not just, you come to this life just, get a good grade, go to a good college, and get a good job and work for a 9-to-5 job. And I truly believe every one of us, we have a life that is more beautiful than that, than a zombie, just working 9-to-5, just live for a living. I believe we are all born to live a life with success, with fulfillment, with more than we can think of what we can achieve. So in today's video, I really hope you to pay attention to each lesson that I learned, because I believe these lessons are the lessons that you need to hear right now. These are the lessons that can separate yourself from the majority and average and really live the life in your own terms. Because this is what I learned from this billionaire, is that it's not about how rich you are. It's about your life experience. What are the stories that you have in your life? What are the stories that you can tell to your son, to your grandson, grandchildren, to your next generation, or even the world? So without further ado, let's go to the first lesson that I learned from this billionaire. And this first point is, you have to be fearless if you want to be successful. You see, this guy, he wanted to leave the country secretly, in China. In that age, way back then, there was no even airplane. How can he just leave his country? And what he did is he just act fearless. He just find ways to just get out of the country. He find ways to achieve his dream. So what he did at that time, he asked a couple of his friends, they gathered some money, they borrowed money from his teacher, and then they bought some gold, for that money, and then he exchanged those golds to money, make a huge returns, and then gain some money for them to get onto the train and travel to the up to border of China. And what he did at that time, he's reached to the border of China. And there's only 3 ways that he can go. The east side is a waterfall, right? And the west side is like a forest. And he got only the north side that he can go, and that is a cliff. That's the border between China and Myanmar, and he really wanted to go to Myanmar to see the world. His dream was to see how beautiful the world is, the freedom, that people have in other countries. So at that time, there's a cliff right there, and that's the only way. And what he did when his friends, a couple of his friends, told him, "Oh, we shouldn't do that. Let's just quit." And he said, "No, we're going to climb this cliff. We're going to go to the top of the mountain, and we're going to make it happen." And you know what? He climbed to the cliff, and one of his friends, he quit. He was afraid, he quit, but he made it happen. He made it to the top of the mountain, and he reached the border of, the Myanmar. And at that time, the story, one of his life-changing story is that when he reached the top of the mountain, he got arrested by the military because he didn't get any identity card at that time. He just alone with some money, with a young kid that is 19 or 20 years old, to just go to Myanmar without anything, just money, no identity cards, nothing, just bold, just pure, fearless. And so he reached the mountain, and the military, the soldier told him, "We cannot accept outsider. We cannot accept people from China. And the only way now is you need to get out. You need to get back to your country. Otherwise, you know what? I'm going to kill you." He literally, the soldier, just pulled out his gun and pointed to his head and said, "You are going to leave, or you're going to die." And you know what he did? He told the soldier like this, "Fearless, you kill me or let me in." And he said why he did what he did. He said, "I wanted to see the world. I want to see the difference between my country and your country. I'm just a young kid, wanted to see the difference of the world. I want to see how beautiful the world can be. I just want to achieve my dream, to fulfill my dream. That is what I did, what I'm doing right now. So please let me in." He act afraid when people act fearless, when people just pull a gun at his head and told him, "You're going to die or you're going to get away." And he said, "Kill me or let me in." And you know what? The soldier surrendered. The soldier said, "I'm guilty if I really shoot you." No, the soldier wasn't even brave enough to really kill him. And you know what happened? He finally got to Myanmar, and he spent 6 years there. And that's what I found the common trait of most successful people, is they are fearless. They don't act afraid. They don't act afraid when there's tough time. They don't give a freaking shit of those things. They just do it. And this is what I want you to learn from this billionaire, and also a lot of successful people out there. If you want to live a life that the majority of people can't, you have to do the things that the majority of people can't. And how can you do that? Is to be fearless. Constantly step out of your comfort zone. Because that is the common trait of successful people. They are really comfortable of being uncomfortable. So you want to make sure that you are fearless. You just constantly stretch yourself and just live, go above and beyond. So that's the first point. The first lesson I learned is that you want to be fearless. And the second lesson that I learned from this billionaire is you have to look at the bigger picture. And that is he always he just urged me, always reminds me to look at the bigger picture. Because he said one of the advantages of being an artist, of being a painter, is you always plan ahead. Because you cannot draw a good picture if you don't plan ahead. So every time before he draw, he need to make the outline, what it look like. And he said this is what he did for his own life as well. He just planned his life. He looked at the bigger picture. Because he said, I never want to work for somebody else. And that's the irony of most people. Most people, they come to this life and they just go to a good college, get good education, certification, whatever they got. They work for somebody else, but not themselves. they never really take control of their own life. And I think that's a pity. That's the last thing that you want to do is in your life, you helping to achieve dream of other people. And there's a great quote said, if you don't build your empire, someone will hire you to build theirs. So you want to make sure that you look at the bigger picture. You just don't focus on the couple tiny penny money that people just hire you right now. You want to look at the bigger picture. You want to make sure that what is the thing that really excites you, that can really bring out the most of you, that you feel I live a life without regret. And when you really look at the bigger picture, you won't fall into the instant gratification. You won't fall into the instantaneous trap. No, people want to trap you, to attract you to work for them because of the instant money that you can get. Instead of looking at the immediate result that you can get, look at the bigger picture. Look at the future, your future. What is the thing that you want to achieve in your life, and take ownership of that. And that is what he told his wife at that time. His wife was originally a reporter, a news reporter, and he told his wife, you're not going to achieve success if you just work for somebody else for your whole life. You're going to make your own dream. You're going to build your own empire. And you know what happened? He trained his wife to become one of the top sales person in the Asia. And she already achieved financial freedom for a long time, that she didn't even need to work, and she was gaining a tons of money. And that's the difference between the successful people and unsuccessful people. Successful people take ownership of their life, and they look at the bigger picture. They don't fall into the instant gratification. They don't look for the short-term reward. They always look for the long-term results, and they just put in the work. And that's the second lesson that I learned. And the third and final lesson that I learned from this billionaire is to learn to use your anger. You see, I remember a lot of times he just talk about those foul language, shits, fuck that, It's funny because I usually didn't talk about a lot of these words, but I found successful people, they have different ways to express their anger, their feeling, their emotions, and the difference between them and the unsuccessful people is they know how to use those negative emotions. Because most people in their life, they still have angry, anxiety, depression, whatever negative feelings. They just try to avoid because they thought, those things are bad. And the more they avoid, the more they focus on that emotion, and they just fall into that trap. And what I found from successful people in this billionaire is they make really good advantage and use of these negative emotions such as anger, depression, anxiety, and to really just turn them into action. So this is one of the things that I want you to really take it into your life, to make it happen in your life, is to use those negative emotion. That is what I found. When the moment that he needs to climb the cliff, he climbed to the top of the cliff. One of his friends next to him said, I wanted to quit because it's just so tough. He said, oh, we didn't have any identity cards, we will be arrested or whatever. And his friend was like, oh, we shouldn't do that, right? And he said, he just becomes so angry because he said, what? We have gone through so far. We have gone through so much pain. We have gone through so much. And you say you're going to quit right now? And he just gave a whole lesson to his friends. And you know what? His friend left him without noticing him the next day. And he was disappointed, but he just kept moving forward. He used all his anger in his life to let it become the fuse of his motivation, to keep him thrive and strive for greater good, for his dream. And another story that he had in his life, there's thousands of stories that he shared in me. I literally spent 7 hours sitting right there, listening to all these stories. It's really, impressive. And yeah, it's back to the point. So another story that he shared is, At that time, he really wanted to go to the United States because he wanted to see the free country, what it looked like. And once he wanted to apply for the visa, and there's people checking his visa application, and that guy, American, said, no, you cannot get that. And being really rude to ask him, get out, get out, get out, right? Insulted him. And at that time, he was just so angry, and he got off the building, and he looked at the building, and he said, one day I'm going to burn this building. Eventually, he didn't do that, but he always used those anger, those as his views to motivate him to do things different from the majority, to do things that he was afraid. And that's why makes him so successful right now. You see, because he learned to use those negative emotions to motivate him, to turn them into a greater good, to turn them into action, and really make his dream come true. So that's the 3 lessons that I learned from this billionaire. So at the end of this video, I really want to ask a question to all of you who are tuning in and watching this video right now, who make it so far to this end to this video, is that what is the story that you want to tell your grandchildren when you are about to die? What is the movie that you want to have for your own life? Because this is what I know, the things that I was thinking, the question that I was inspired when I was learning from this billionaire. It's all about his stories that he had in his life. It's not about a 9-to-5 job. No, he had a couple times that he can get a good job, good paid job, that he don't need to worry about money. But he didn't choose to do that. He just constantly embraced the challenge and do things very different. Just constantly challenge himself and do things different from the majority. And so my question to you is, what is the story that you want to share, that you are proud of when you share your stories, your life stories, to your grandchildren when you're about to die, when you're old, right? Because I think that was the most beautiful thing that you can do with your life. It's not just to get rich, it's not just to work for a good company, but it's about the stories, the experience that you had in your life, that when the moment that you're about to leave this world, you just die empty, because I've given all of myself, and I live a life without any regret, because I just do whatever it takes to make things happen, to really live the life that I'm really truly born to live. So, Weeboners, hope you really enjoyed this video, and I just really want to share the lessons I learned from this billionaire, because I was just so inspired by this billionaire, not because of his money, how rich he is. I mean, he is really rich, but more important is the stories that he had in his life. And at the end of this video, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you who make it so far. And if you like this video, please click the like button and subscribe my channel. Also remember to share this video to your friends and family so that you can make an impact to their life. And as always, Weebonner, if you want to change the world, then be the change. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.